Well, hello. We're live. I'm doing something different. I'm starting a new series where I just talk to people in the community. I thought it would be a cool thing to do. Change it up a little bit. Um, sort of give credit where credit's due to people who are in the GI Joe community, and a lot of people may never see them, may not know much about them, and that's not the case with tonight's guest. But I still thought it would be cool, and I get to hang out and talk Joes with other people, and what better way to spend my evening? So I thank you all for being here, and we're just going to hang out. We're going to talk Joes, and we're going to have a good time. So here we go. That intro is like speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. Anyway, so tonight on episode 1 of Articulated Chat, right? We're going to call it Chatting with Chad. So I have Casey from Podcast from the Pit, and we're just going to hang out. We're going to talk some Joes, and I got to thank everybody that's here. You guys are all awesome. I see all of you. And so real quick, we got Pendragon Designs, who actually did my new logo and intro. So thank you, my friend, for that. I made good use of it tonight. We got Chris in the house. How you doing, Chris? Of course, he's talking to Pendragon. That's cool. Jim Largo, what's going on? Season's greetings to you too, my friend. Thanks for being here. Playing with my 375. Awesome. I'm glad you're here. Howdy. How you doing? Zazel, my friend. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. I really appreciate it. And Zazel said, so stoked to be able to catch episode 1, right? Look at that. You're a maverick, my friend. And then, yep, everybody's giving the old Ace Hunter. And James is here. What's up, Ratface? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Jim Largo. Yep, everybody's just chatting away. Chatty Chad. Yep, that's me, man. We're chatting with Chad. Pendragon says, that intro, though, right? Right. I know. I love it. Patrick's here. What's up, Big Bacon? Glad you could make it, my man. And I got to give it up because the mam's here. What's up, baby? That's my wife. Thanks, Jim. I really appreciate it. It's coming together. I still got some gaps, man, but you know how it goes, right? Slow and steady win the race. So I'm working on it. And Wilhelm, Toy and Hobbies here. Thank you for being here. Wilhelm Scream. Wow. And then hey, who likes stuff? Do you like stuff? I like stuff. And then yeah, Battle Cat, right? Yeah. My wife's a huge Battle Cat fan. So anyway, thank you all for being here. We'll keep checking the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring on my number one guest for Articulated Chat. And this guy, he and I have been talking for a while about I wanted to get him on my show. And it was actually talking with Casey that gave me the idea to come up with this because I really wanted to hang out and talk Joes with Casey. And so I have him to thank for the impetus for this. If 10-year-old Chad could see the Joe room, I know, right? Johnny, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for being here, my friend. All right, so here we go. Casey from Podcast from the Pit.
Hey,
what's up, dude? I'm good. So, what's new with you?
Not a lot. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Casey, you run a podcast called Podcast from the Pit.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and kind of give everybody a little understanding of your podcast? How long have you been doing it? You don't need to tell everybody where they can find it because I got some links and I'm going to throw them up in the chat.
Okay.
And you're just kind of what's it about? What's your deal? What's your shtick?
Basically, it's me and my best friend. We were out one day, and I don't know why, but I said, "Hey, I'm going to start collecting GI Joe," and he's like, "I want to too." So we went to this toy antique mall in Louisville, Kentucky,
Mhm.
and picked up a few O-rings, and it's just snowballed. And my wife heard us talking about the figures, and I was making fun of some of the ones he liked, and she's like, "You guys should just do a podcast on it." So we decided. I mean, there's so many good podcasts out there. We want to do ours a little different. We just talk about our hunting trips to where we go and look for our collections.
Yeah.
Or we go to Joe Fest. We'll talk about our Joe Fest, Winter Fest, toy stores. We'll talk about the cool toy stores we go to.
Yep.
It's just a fun time, just collecting. We don't break news. That's not us.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good podcasts for that. We just collect toys, and that's what we
rad.
talk about.
That's really awesome. And how long have you guys been doing that?
A couple years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So for anybody who cares, here's a screenshot of Podcast from the Pit on Apple Podcasts. And I went ahead and threw 3 of them in the link. So you got Apple Podcast, you got Podcast Addict, and then buzzsprout.com. And then my wife says Joe Fest was a blast this year. And yeah,
it was.
It really was. So that's actually a really good segue. So my wife's helping us out already because everybody loves a good lifeline. What you got any fancy special stories from Joe Fest that you want to maybe share?
Well, this was our second Joe Fest. We went last year too,
Yep.
but we didn't really know what to expect. It was our first Joe Fest. So this year we did more stuff. Sat through some panels.
Yeah.
Got to meet a few more people. Just kind of soaked it in more this year. Got to meet Hooded Cobra Commander.
Yeah. Brian?
Yeah. Ron Rudat.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. I'm going to throw the other picture up then. Here we go. Since you brought it up, there's you and Ron Rudat.
And of course, the guys from Order of Battle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just had a good time.
They had a really good display. They were hanging out in the back, in the back of the room. But yeah, they had a really awesome display. They had a lot of stuff in glass cases that I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't mind walking off with. But, yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and then here's a picture of you with the guys who they cosplay as the Crimson Twins. They're not actually brothers, but they pull it off really well.
They do. I thought they were brothers.
Yeah. So initially, I not only thought they were brothers, I also thought that they were part of the Finest, which they are neither. They're actually in a different Cobra-themed costuming club, but that's totally cool. But they still hung out with all of us in the Finest, and it was pretty awesome. So, but yeah, there's you with the man right there. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was. I got to meet him last year too, but
yeah,
I just had to get a picture this year.
The crazy thing, there's so many of us who were at Joe Fest. Like it's just like it's the mecca for what we do. And you and I didn't know each other then. I didn't see you then,
No.
and so on and so forth. But yeah, so very cool. Oh yeah, and then Wilhelm, yeah, they did finish each other's sentences. Yeah, they did. And next year for Joe Fest, Zazel is coming from Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse, and we are going to hang out and have a freaking awesome time.
That would be great.
Yeah, he's a really, really fantastic guy. So make sure, Casey, you go meet Zazel.
Oh, I will.
And since we're sharing Joe Fest stories, so this is me and the ma'am, aka my wife, and that's my Cobra officer and her Baroness, and that's us with Ed Schumacher, who is the brains behind Joe Fest. And Ed's a totally awesome guy. Have you met him?
I have not.
No, Ed's super cool, really down to earth guy. I'm going to have him on this show later on down the road. So probably like February, March timeframe, once everything's kind of solidified, we're going to really start talking that Joe Fest stuff. And then, there's me and the man Carson himself. So we're just kind of hanging out. But, yeah, very cool. And
I did get to meet Carson this year.
Yeah,
he was really nice.
He's a super genuine guy. And then George Aiken's here, so I want to say hi to George. He's coming to us all the way from the UK. So we got Zazel from Australia, and we got George from the UK. And I always love when George comes and supports because it's really late for him. So thanks for being here, George. Hanging out with Casey. So cool, yeah, right on. You are going next year?
That's the plan. We'll just
Yeah.
have to see.
Because Sarge is going to be there, and apparently Larry Hama is going to be there too. So
Oh, nice.
that's kind of the word. So there will be a bunch of people. There's a few other people that is still kind of waiting on confirmation if they are going to show or not. So naming names is probably not a good thing, but we'll
Right.
see how it goes.
Yeah, I missed Sarge this year. I met him last year. He was really cool.
Yeah, he and Larry Hama had that weird conflict, and they both went someplace else. It was a little bit of a bummer, but it happens. So yeah, it'll be really cool.
Joe Fest is a good time.
Oh yeah, Joe Fest is an awesome time. And you and I were talking backstage before we went live, and at the little swap sale thing upstairs out on the balcony, what'd you pick up this year?
Killer whale.
How much did you get that killer whale for?
$60.
That's so crazy. That's so awesome.
It was missing a couple pieces, but I got them.
Okay, so here's a question for you, right? You're a toy collector. I'm a toy collector. Would you rather have an item or a figure at, say, 60, 70, 80%, or not have it and wait until you can get it complete?
It depends on the deal.
Okay.
If I feel like, hey, that's a good deal, I can, if I want to complete it, I can, and still be under what I would buy it for completed. Yes, I will do that. Like with, I got such a great deal on my flag. Mm-hmm. I still need a few pieces, but when I find them, I'll get them, and I'll still be under what a lot of people have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But most of the time, if I buy a figure, I want the figure complete.
That's fair. I very much take the approach that if I look at an item, either a vehicle or a figure, I'm going to do like little 5-minute research and try to figure out, can I find those missing parts?
Right.
Or are they like not going to happen? Because the 1994 Blockbuster that I just posted the unboxing video for, you can't find that loose complete. Because there were so few of them made. If you want it complete and you want it in good shape, I had to buy it sealed in a box. But my Night Raven was missing probably 35%, but it's a Night Raven. Those parts are everywhere.
Right. I just finished my Night Raven. I got the last few pieces I needed.
Yep. And they're not that hard to find. So as long as you know what you're looking at, if you either take a couple minutes and hunt, for answers, or if you've been in this game long enough, you can kind of determine, that's easy to find parts for, or no, that's not easy to find parts for at all. And then there's always repro stuff. And I know you and I were talking backstage that you don't have a problem with repro parts.
Nope.
Yeah, me either. Absolutely.
I'm not going to sell it anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then Wilhelm says, I don't mind completing vehicles at all. It's a lot of fun, even more if it's a great deal. Yeah, and I agree. So, we both just talked about how we completed Night Ravens. Now, when I look at my Night Raven, it's more of accomplishment. It's not just that I own a complete Night Raven. It's that I did that. Like, I took a toy that was incomplete and I babied it and I loved it. And I put in the time and the effort to hunt down the other parts. And now every time I look at it, I'm like, I did that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. And then Patrick says, I decide based on how difficult it would be to complete. Yeah, there you go.
You definitely got to think about it.
Yeah. Chris says, I'm starting on my Cobra Hiss tank, and those parts are easy to find. Also, you can make a great custom. Yeah, for sure. And Chris has been showing me the progress on his Hiss restoration / custom, which is cool.
Nice.
Jim Largo, bringing incomplete vehicles back to life is a great hobby in itself. Absolutely. 100%.
Yep.
A lot of times, I'm kind of approaching it like, oh, well, I'm going to rescue this. And it's almost like Pound Puppies, Pound Puppies, G.I. Joe style.
Right.
Very cool. And then let me read another comment here. And Chris says, I'm starting. Oh, I already saw that. Never mind. As you were. Okay, so you got anything else, Joe Fest? Thoughts?
I got some parts for a few vehicles I needed. The Lost and Found Toys always has like totes that are marked for what they go for.
Yeah,
Easy. Plus, now their shop is only 30 minutes away from me.
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Did you see all those people? I'm just gonna I'm gonna talk this story because it's hilarious. Did you see all those people like Friday afternoon immediately just bum rush and buy up all the Defiance? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. So I had a I had a live stream with my buddy Jay Bartlett from Jay and Rob Toy Show, Action Figure Adventure, and Nintendo Quest, and we had to do a live stream that Friday. So my wife and I had the VIP passes, so we had the early admission. While we're sitting there, all those tables that are under the stairs. We were at those tables under the stairs to the right,
Yeah.
and we were live streaming, and a whole family came out, and it was like a guy, his wife, and like 3 or 4 kids, and each one of them had a piece of the Defiant, and they were like parading by. There must have been 5 or 6 complete Defiants, and by Saturday morning they were all gone. It was just like it was Defiant crazy, but I only saw 1 flag and I only saw 2 generals. So there you go.
Hmm.
And then George Aiken says, in the UK, Robo Skull, an individual part costs at least 30 pounds. Yeah, I can 100% understand that. My Robo Skull, I can't point on camera right there, is incomplete. It's missing one of the halves of the rear boosters, and I cannot find that piece. I can't. That's the one part I can't find to complete my Robo Skull, and it makes me sad. Speaking of Robo Skull, did you get in on that Skeletron Robo Skull Mark II
No,
Kickstarter?
I missed out on that.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Still sad about it.
Yeah, but they'll trust me, they'll be around.
Yeah.
They'll be around. A lot of people only buy them to resell them, which kind of sucks, but I understand the nature of the finances where if I buy 2 and then resell 1 later, well, that one when I resell it pays for both. It's kind of a shady game, but it
It's
does work.
supply and demand. Your
Yeah.
fill needs.
Yeah. That's
I may
the
have to
name of the
buy
game.
one.
Well, maybe you and I can discuss that because I got 2. So, anywho, so moving on. What are your thoughts on Operation Recall? I know you and I kind of talked about it.
Yeah. Operation Recall. I'm in for 6 figures.
Nice.
And besides the cadaver, I can't remember right off the top of my head what I got.
So you like the cadaver, huh?
Yeah.
So Pendragon Designs, who's in the comments, he designed Cadaver.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Cadaver was the figure that more than Ratello, Cadaver really sold me on Operation Recall. As soon as I saw that figure, I was like, man, that is like old school, G.I. Joe, Enemy Team, Iron Grenadiers, whatever. Like it fits so well. I was like, I gotta have it.
Oh yeah.
So
it's probably the figure that pushed me over the edge to get into it.
Yeah. Oh, hang on 1 second. Oh shit, I just said that. Okay, cool. And then playing with my 375. I love that name. What scale is Operation Recall? It is 1/18 scale, 3 3/4, old school O-ring Joe style.
Yep.
Exactly. And then Pendragon says thanks, and he also is relaunching Easy Kill 9, which I don't know if you saw any of the early Easy Kill 9 stuff. His Kickstarter, awesome stuff. So when he relaunches that, look out for that.
Okay.
And then everybody's over here praising Pendragon for Cadaver, which is freaking awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I was typing that while you said it. No, that's totally cool. So yeah, cool. So you're in for 6. So you looking forward to that?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Oh snap! Look who's here, Scuba Pete. What's up, Scuba Pete? I'm glad you came, man. We're just we're hanging out with Casey from Podcast from the Pit. We're talking all things G.I. Joe, my friend. So cool. Rad that Scuba's here. Cool. All right. And what do you think about I mean, I already know, right? It's kind of a loaded question, but call sign longbow.
Love this.
Yeah,
I went all in on this. Very happy.
nice.
I cannot wait for these to come out.
Yeah, it has a very old school Cold War kind of vibe to it. Did you see the Russian ninja?
Yes,
Like it's a Russian ninja. Like as soon
that
as
was.
I saw that figure, I was like, "Oh man, that thing is awesome."
I was so glad I could get that for my extra because this is all in plus one,
Yep.
and I was like, "Oh, thank you."
Wait one, hold on. Uh, Ratface 44. Are we allowed to talk about classified? Casey and I are actually gonna talk about classified, so hang tight and we'll get there. Some people may not like it, but we're gonna get there. So
But yeah,
yeah,
call sign longbow. Excited
yep.
for it.
Yeah,
Can't wait
and
to
this
see
is
them
this
side
this
by
is
side.
John. Yeah, this is John Kukovic. So this is my buddy Mikey's dad, and I know Mikey did a lot of work on it. I know that Matthew Lacroix added he lended some work on it. It's just a totally awesome line. But between Call Sign Longbow, Operation Recall, and even if you like the modern construction stuff, the Marauder Gunrunners non Kickstarter stuff, there's a lot of good toys coming our way. And
You know,
then Matthew Lacroix is about to really kick it into high gear with his Strike Force Alpha line too. I don't know if you got in on that.
I love the Robert Gunrunners figures.
Mhm.
I hate putting them together.
Just like all the little
Yeah,
pegs, and you got to put it on.
yeah.
Like a little dab of super glue will save the day any time because I have a bunch of them too, and I'll move them, and I'll be like, man, where'd that pouch go? And you're looking for a pouch that's like this big, like you can't even really find it.
I've got like
Yeah,
two from 2 years ago, Joe Fest. I still haven't put together yet.
yeah.
I mean, I
I
love them. They look great. I just
yeah,
wish they came together.
I got a bunch sitting on this shelf right here that I still need to build, but and then playing with my 375 says, "Where the hell have I been? I haven't heard of any of these." I don't know, but they're out there and they're awesome. So
Yeah,
yeah, cool. All right. Any other thoughts for Call Sign Longbow?
I just can't wait for it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited for that. So when did you first get into GI Joe?
When they first came out in '82, I
Okay,
was
so
10 years
you
old.
got yeah you got in with a real American hero.
Yes,
Yeah,
I still remember it was a store called 3D. I got my first Joe was Breaker.
nice,
Yeah,
very cool. I got in at the ground floor as well in 1982. I was into some other stuff. I definitely started with I remember like the Fisher Price stuff, and then got in with the Kenner, obviously the Star Wars, and
hmm
'78. Stayed in that, and then I got to GI Joe in 1982, and my first Joe was Flash.
nice.
So yeah, and I'm not going to say it now because we're going to get into it in a little bit. We're going to talk about who our favorite Joes and all this stuff are, and then. Oh, so Scuba Pete, he just got his Skeledrones. That's cool, man. That's really cool. I haven't seen mine. Um, I don't know. Maybe they'll show up here in a minute. But with
Yeah,
with my move and my change of address, like I got stuff bouncing all over. So I'm sure it'll show up. So. And then Wilhelm says Vamp with Clutch was his first Joe. Cool, very cool.
yeah. The
So Casey, if
yes,
Breaker was your first, who do you Breaker or Dial Tone?
honestly, I like Daltone. I don't know what it is, but just cooler looking figure, and he came with a gun.
And he has a weapon. Yeah, that's always every discussion. So I'm really big on the whole, the refreshes of the line, and so you go from Flash to Sci-Fi, and you go from Breaker to Dial Tone, and so on and so forth. And
hmm
I really like to ask Joe fans, people that I talk to, or just kind of shoot the shit with, like, who do you prefer, like this one or that one? Like, are you a Mobac guy or are you a Mauler guy? Like where are we at here? And you always hear, well, Dial Tone had a weapon. I'm like, yeah, he definitely had a weapon. He had a silenced,
Yeah,
he had a suppressed submachine gun. Yeah, so he
it
had
was
fire.
nice.
Yeah, Dial Tone is a sharp looking figure. Yeah, he is. Dial tone's awesome. I gotta say though, that modern exclusive dial tone I thought was kind of junk. So
Haven't seen it.
yeah, I made a custom because I was gonna pay $180 for a figure that I thought kind of looked like ass. It was just a repaint of Airborne. I didn't like it. So okay. What do you like to collect? And that's kind of a really broad question, but Joe, Star Wars, scales, like what do you what you think? What's your deal?
GI Joes. I like the O rings and the modern figures. That's what I'm working on there. And Star Wars. I just got back into Star Wars a couple months ago, and getting some stuff from when I was a kid. I mean, I showed you my Falcon I just picked up.
Yep, you sure did.
Uh, I love the modern vintage collection, Star Wars. Those figures are nice. A few Black series if I really like them from the shows or movies, but I don't do a lot of them because I don't. The scale's just too big.
Oh, see, we're starting to circle the drain of that conversation, so we'll get there. Okay, go ahead.
But and every once in a while, I'll buy a random Doctor Who figure.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
Yeah,
cool. I gotta you can kind of see them. I have a whole run of Exo Squad, so I'm a big fan of Exo Squad. I have them kind of interspersed within my Joe collection. So
nice.
yeah, I make custom 4-inch scale mask vehicles.
Oh,
So I'm a big fan of that, and I mostly do Joe. I have Transformers because now shared universe, right? So they can all live together, and then the mask stuff too. So
right.
and since mask only scales with the 2.5-inch Sigma 6 stuff that
Yeah,
that Hasbro came out with for Joe, that's why I make the custom 4-inch scale mask stuff. So it fits well.
cool.
So cool,
Yeah,
very cool. I dig it. And then it's pronounced Pericles, correct? Please let me know that I pronounced that correctly. My first Joes were Short Fuse and Stalker. Awesome. I love Short Fuse. Short Fuse doesn't get a lot of love. Like he's such a rad figure.
right.
Even the modern one, he just has those like John Lennon type shades on. He's like, he gives no F's. He's just like, yeah, whatever, check me out. So that was pretty cool. Man, this chat is jumping, jumping. And then, oh, cool. Look at this. Ken from Toy Connections decided to come hang out. Hey, Ken,
Nice.
thanks for coming, man. It's good to see you. Ken's a big Transformers guy. So yeah.
Yeah, and wrestling, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ken's he's into a lot of stuff, which is really cool. And then I did say it correctly. Okay, cool. So Pericles, cool. Very cool. I hate to mispronounce people's name because my last name is very unique. Nobody knows it because of what I do for a career, which is why I have a stupid name. Um, but yeah, people always butcher my last name, and I freaking hate it. So I hate to butcher people's names. Oh, look at that. George Aiken. I have a complete Red Shadows Armored Company. You
Wow.
have complete Palatoy everything, sir. And he has like duplicates and duplicates and duplicates.
I would
His Palatoy Action Force collection is amazing.
I would like to get a few Pal toys. I've been looking at them on eBay, but haven't pulled the trigger yet.
I've dipped my toes into it. I have a few things. I have the Mobat, the ATC, the SAS Wolverine, their Ram Cycle, the with Coral,
Hmm.
and I have a Robo Skull, and then I have some figures, and that's word on the streets is that I'm getting a complete Shadow Track for Christmas, but I gotta wait and see if Santa Claus brings me one if I was to get it or not. So thank you, Wilhelm. I really appreciate that. I'm still working on it, but it's labor of love because it's a garage. You can only do so much with a garage. But yeah, I had to cover the walls in here, so I got landscaping fabric. That black stuff that you put down before you landscape.
Yeah.
And that's why all my walls are black because I
Oh,
just like I got one of those staple guns and I had to do the whole thing. But whatever, it's cool. Yeah,
looks good.
but it's mine, all mine. Very cool. All right. So I keep looking at that skiff over your shoulder, man. That's awesome. I love it. I don't do a lot of Star Wars stuff. I have some things like you can see this Clone Wars turbo tank right here on the floor,
Uh-huh.
but I G'd it up Cobra style, so it doesn't look like space adventure at all. So yeah,
Yeah, I
no,
kind of just go with what makes me happy.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's no weeds getting in my garage, sir. So very cool. All right, so people like my garage. George says we got repackaged Joes. Yeah, yeah, you guys did get repackaged Joes, and then you got the international heroes later on, and so on and so forth. But I will take a red jackal. I'll put him next to Destro any day. So that's really cool. I love the Action Force stuff. It's really sweet. Okay, so we're gonna move on. I'm gonna add this up, and who asked? I don't know. I think maybe it was Wilhelm, but yeah. Now we're gonna get into it. You ready?
Yep.
Let's discuss this. We're probably gonna sit on this for a couple minutes, and I'm sure the chat's gonna go a little wild. But what do you Thank you, Ken. I appreciate you. What do you think about I'm sorry, I'm catching up to the chat.
Oh, you're good.
Hell yeah, Pete. Same here, man. Flash. I love Flash. Flash is my number 2 all-time Joe.
Flash is great.
Sorry, I'm just skipping through here. Ken from Toy Connections, he likes your skiff too. He thinks that's really cool.
Thank you.
Oh, George. Okay, George. I'll get with you offline, dude. Sir. Good sir. Appreciate it. I'll get with you offline. And yep. First Joes were Zartan and Snowjob. That's cool. Eric, are you in the US? Did you just get into Joe a little later? That's actually really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so Ratface 44 reviews, aka James, who's probably more handsome than anybody, says it was me. Well, sir, here we go. So, Casey from
Yes.
Podcast from the Pit.
Yep.
Please. What are your thoughts on Classified? And as you're talking, I'm going to add your podcasts into the chat again for anybody who wants to check them out. So please, by all means, what do you got?
Okay, Classified, beautiful figures. I'm done with them. I worked so hard to get them, and after a while, it just felt like work. And I understand why people love them. They are really nice, and it seems like every wave they just get better. But for me, they stopped bringing me joy, so I stopped collecting them. It's that simple. The scale's too big, and they were just too hard to find for too long. I worked way too hard to get the ones I got.
How far did you get before you called it quits?
I got Serpentor, still in the box. I got Slaughter, he's still in the box, and Mindbender. After that, I canceled the pre-orders on everything else. Oh, and I got Tiger Force Outback.
So you got to like pretty much current, like now.
Right. Except for a couple of the Python patrols that are out right now. It just, like I said, I felt like I was just doing it just to get them. It wasn't fun anymore.
Almost like
for me.
like you were. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, so I'm going to ask, and then you tell me yes or no. Do you kind of feel like you were conditioned to buy them because of it says GI Joe on it?
I think I was conditioned to buy them so I could talk about them on my podcast.
That's fair, George. That's rad. And you know what, Casey? That's a very fair answer. And real quick, I want to say, Backwoods, thanks for showing up. And he says Classified needs a play set at least. Okay, well, I'm going to touch on that. And then Captain K023, thanks for coming. Says, wish we could still have window packaging. Well, you could, because it's only Hasbro really going that route. But I mean, whatever. You're saving the environment. Somebody.
Openings will still be clear.
Yeah, I mean the only real O-rings that we've gotten since they kind of said everything, Hasbro Boys Toys wide is going to windowless packaging. Has the last couple things we got was the crossover Bumble Striker and the crossover Mega Hiss, and yeah, they came with carded figures. But if you want to split hairs, the classified Sarge that comes in a windowless package came with a mini Sarge
Right.
on a bubble.
Yeah.
So like, I love to kind of poke holes in that theory, and I'm like, wait a second, that's not plastic free. And
Yeah.
then, go ahead.
My understanding is Hasbro, like with the Star Wars Vintage Collection, the 3 3/4, those are still bubble because they're considered collectibles and not toys. And that's going to be the same thing with the O rings. My understanding. I could be wrong.
So would that then carry over to the whole classified retro that you find at like Walmart's? I'll tell you what, that Lady J is a freaking peg warmer. Every time I
Yeah.
go into
Oh, yeah.
Walmart, there's more of them. It's just all Lady J's, and I see like 10 figures, and I'm like, oh, maybe they got a couple others. And I've seen them all, but I pass on them. And it's just 14 Lady J's. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Everybody is they're all chiming in. Everybody is chiming in. So very cool. And then yeah, so Chris says classifieds not for every collector, but if you enjoy collecting them, it makes you happy. That's what matters. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
They're beautiful.
And yeah, and then like Wilhelm says, I enjoy them through my friends' enjoyment of them. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's kind of the cool thing about our hobby in general. It doesn't matter if it's Joe's or Transformers, or Legends or whatever you get into, Mask, Motu, whatever brings you joy. And I know people, I'm sure you do too, and they only collect sealed and they only collect graded, and their collections look like museums, and that's cool, man. If they love them, it's the same thing with video game collectors. Like video game collectors, same. Like some people play them, some people they just have them, and that's totally fine. And then yeah, George says the latest classified are much better than the early ones with better weapons and accessories. So
Oh, yeah.
real quick, let's chit chat on that, and I'm actually going to leave that up. So, when they first came out with classified, it was a completely new aesthetic, and looking at that Tiger Force Duke, like the aesthetics there, they just repainted it, in Tiger Force colors, but the shin guards and the this and the that and the communications device, which they still carry over here and there.
Mhm.
They were a lot different. They had gold shins and Nerf guns, and
Yeah.
Roadblock came with what looked like a hair straightener. How do you feel about their shift back to a real American hero style but scaled up? How do you feel about that?
I like both actually. The when the first set came out, it didn't. I mean, the weapons bothered me, but the updated deco for the characters, it did not bother me. Like I just got a Maldeus from I think Mark II Designs and put it on
Yeah.
my Roblox. He looks great. You
Yeah,
just have to change a couple things.
Yeah, I will definitely give a lot of credit to like Mark II and Gridiron Studios as well. Like there's
Amazing.
a lot of smaller companies and a lot of like fans, fans do the best work. There's a lot of people out there like that they make accessory packs and things like that, and the jump jet pack, et cetera, et cetera. Even a Carl Gustav, they make a lot of stuff that kind of adds to these figures. And real quick, my buddy Gaz, what's up, dude? Good to see you. I'm glad you're here, man. Thanks for coming. And Johnny from Simple Tricks and Nonsense says, I was always super selective on which figures I like, going back to Wave 1 in the 80s, but with classified on the same Barbecue, Outback, Roadblock, and so many others I don't care about. Yeah, the Cobra Island Roadblock. That Cobra Island Roadblock should have just been heavy duty.
Right.
Like that's just a personal opinion. Like the thing that turned me off to classified, we're just having the conversation anyway. I didn't like the fact that, and I try to be measured when I say this because it's almost like tap dancing in a minefield. I don't have a problem with repaints. If we go back to, earlier Real American Hero, how many figures shared the same head?
Right.
So I don't have issues with that. There's nothing wrong with cost-cutting measures. The whole reason we got Battle Cat for Masters of the Universe was because it was cost-cutting and there was a big gym tiger. And sometimes, necessity is the mother of invention and you get great stuff out of it. I will never fault that. But when you got 6 Snake Eyeses and then Snake Eyes? Is it break danced or is it broke dance? Anyway, so Snake Eyes, when you have 6 of them, 8 of them, how many of them now? And then the same with Roadblock. Like when did Roadblock become that popular? It's like you're giving me how many Roadblocks when I haven't seen, up until now, you hadn't seen a Stalker. And that was always my argument. I'm like, where's Stalker? Why do you keep doing Roadblock and Snake Eyes? And it's like this vicious circle where, well, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are the only popular ones. It's like, cool. Well, you only did 2 Storm Shadows, and the first one was like Ninja Force Arctic Mission Storm Shadow. Like you came out of the gate with that, really?
And I didn't care for that one.
No, I didn't either. And I know a lot of people got him because they were like, oh, he's an Amazon exclusive, and look, I got him. And I was like, okay. And then the Red Ninja. So just like Johnny was saying, like being selective. When I first got into Classified, is because my wife shares in my love of G.I. Joe. Like, obviously, she costumes with me with the finest. We go to Joe Fest. Our wedding's in June, and it's our excuse to go to Joe Fest every year, right? So, she's in the hobby with me, and she bought me all of Wave 1 and Wave 2, barring a couple. And then I saw, the Red Ninja, and I'm like, that looks like shit. Like, the Red Ninja from Legends looks a million times better. Like, what are you doing? So then, yeah, I just got selective. And then Backwoods says, where's Doc? We didn't have Doc, But a lot of this stuff goes back to, somebody made the comment about play sets. This scale is not conducive of that stuff. Sure, yeah, there's a RAM, and this is just a personal opinion, right? Take it or leave it. But that Tiger Force RAM is like eye cancer. But that, again, that's just my opinion.
Right.
You're never going to get anything big with Classified unless it's going to be a HasLab. And I don't know what your thoughts are on HasLab. We're going to get into that in a second. But you're never going to see it unless it's HasLab. They proved as much with the Hiss Tank, but you negate any kind of world building, right? Look behind you, look behind me, look behind any of us as collectors, right? We don't just have figures, we have worlds. You have battlefield accessories, mini play sets, vehicles of all sizes, play sets of all sizes. You're not going to get that in a 6-inch scale. It's Masters of the Universe, they could do it,
right,
at their scale, and it's pretty comparable. But it just seems like the shift has moved away. When I talked with Kirk Bazigian, he said it's not about world building and telling stories anymore. It's just action figure lines, and some people like that, and that's totally cool. But I don't know. But anyway, anything else you want to say on Classified? And then I'm gonna look at some of these comments because people are kind of going ape shit. So,
like I said, I hope they keep making them for a long time because a lot of people love them. I just can't do them anymore. That's it.
Yeah, all I can really say is I tried to get into it because apparently Pavlovian conditioning, and I see G.I. Joe, and I'm like, oh, I have to have that.
Right.
And my wife being sweet and supportive, she kind of got me into the first 2 waves. And then after that, I was like, these are just hard to find, and these Target manager exclusives that never materialize. And you get that pop finder shit, and you bother going to a Target, and you're standing there in front of the person. You're like, it says right here that you have 6 of them in the store, and they're like, well, we don't have any, because they all took them. They're selling them on eBay and shit. And then I just got tired of it, and I was like, I have so much in the 1/18 scale. Why do I want to bother going to a new scale? And that's just kind of me. And then once I was done with it, I was done. I was done with it. And
I actually, as soon as I told myself I'm done with them, I felt better. I don't know.
Yeah, me too. Right? You almost feel like relieved.
Yeah.
And that's kind of modern toy collecting in general. It's not just Joe. It's not just Joe in that scale, but it's a lot of stuff. Like when Mattel came out with that Grizzlor, and then they kind of screwed that up, and the classified shit, and they come on this live stream and they're like, yeah, this is a live stream to announce that those figures are going live, but they went live an hour ago and they're already sold out. And like, to me, it speaks volumes when I can get a toy from 2019 all the way back to 1982 10 times easier than I can a modern toy that's being produced right now. I cut the cord and I feel a million times better. It doesn't bother me at all. And then real quick, Pendragon says, why isn't she co-hosting the show with you? Hold on, watch this. I'm going to mute myself. Okay, I yelled for her. We'll see if she comes. I think she's making dinner, but that might be something to look at in the future. But I don't know. I'm gonna do some weird like Sunny and Cher thing. I don't know. But anyway, she just likes to pop in and pop out. So, anywho, closing thoughts on Classified? Anything at all? Did we beat it to death?
They're beautiful figures. I'm glad people enjoy them. I hope they just keep making them. I'll leave it at that.
I fully agree they're beautiful figures. I will also pose the argument that they better be at that scale, because it's like how could they not be? They're that large.
Right.
So as a customizer, I customized a Classified Scarlet into a Quarrel because I didn't like Scarlet's head for Scarlet. So I got a different head for Scarlet. And then as I was looking at that Scarlet, I was like, I'm going to make that Quarrel. And, I did her up. I put the Union Jack on her shoulder, the whole 9 yards. I made her the Z-Force colors. She looks awesome. It's one of the only Classified figures that I give two craps about because I made it. But customizing a Classified figure versus customizing a 3 3/4 inch figure, it's nothing. It's like you just run right over it. But anyway, that's just.
I do think that the movie figure Scarlet is better than the regular Classified.
Yeah, right. That's another figure. Every time I think about Classifieds and they're like kind of redoing, they when they pivoted, they shit canned the original designs for Storm Shadow, which Hiya Toys picked up for their new 4-inch line, right? Because Hiya Toys is taking over the modern 4-inch Joe line. Now they've only released 2, but they both look completely identical to Classified. So we'll see moving forward. And then they came out with the retro Storm Shadow, and I'm like, where's that retro Scarlet, man? Like you did Lady J. I would love to see Scarlet, like Scarlet done right. But then again, done right is relative, right?
Yeah.
Simple tricks. I have a red ninja from Legends for my Cobra Ninja. See, there you go. I see Classified line as I can customize to get them how I want. I did the same in the 80s. I repainted garish figures in tactical colors. Totally cool. Totally cool. I took a couple of the 90s vehicles and I made them more like OD green looking kind of style. And then Eric, what's up, Eric? Thanks for coming. Says newer Classified got me nostalgic for buying my old O-rings I had as a kid again, so I'm glad for that. Classified looks good on a shelf, but no world building. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Zazel says, "Damn, that Crocmaster is an A+." So I got a love-hate thing with Crocmaster, and we were ranking figures Friday night on Jay Bartlett's channel, and I was like, Crocmaster is not an A. So anyway, and then Toy Domination. What's up, Dom? Glad you're here. Thanks for coming, sir. I'm glad you're here, sir. Dom and I are we're both in the Army. We don't really talk about it much, but we always give each other shit about it. So. I love Dom. He's a pogue. Anyway, so yeah, Classified. So we got a lot of comments on that. Trying to not kind of linger for too long. Don says play sets are for playing. Yeah, price points are for collectors, not for kids to play.
Yep.
That's a good point, and that's a very valid argument. So Michael from Retro Blasting said, nostalgia's like a glider, right? Like it'll take flight, but sooner or later it's going to hit the ground. And I thought that was a really perfect analogy where, we rest on nostalgia, 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 but at some point we're all going to be out of the game. Either you know, we're only so finite on this planet, but also at the same time, like if you're not getting kids into the line, like there's no entertainment. Yeah, they put Snake Eyes in Fortnite, but what did that really do?
Yeah.
There's no cartoons. Even with Resolute, and Resolute took off. I don't know how you feel about Resolute, but it
Love it.
went over like gangbusters, and then they just stopped.
Yep.
The game that came out didn't really do that great, and we're going to move on to something else that didn't really do that great here in a minute. But without the entertainment, and then pricing kids out of these toys, like I have children. Granted, our daughter is 15, so she's not into that stuff anymore. Like she collects manga and stuff like that. But if she was 8 and into GI Joe, I'm not going to buy her a shitload of figures at $30, $35, $50. No, I'm not doing that. It's totally for collectors. Anybody who says, well, this is for kids, like saying Star Wars is for kids, like I don't even get down with that. Did you get the new Cobra Retro? Oh man, you're talking to Scuba Pete. You're not even talking to me. Never mind. And then, but Pete did say those higher price points begin to negate my nostalgia. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, 100%. And Dad, can I have $50 to go mow the lawn? I'd like to buy GI Joe Classified. No. Pendragon says, Chad, ask your daughter if she likes. I'm sure she like. I don't. She's into all that stuff. Well, I know you're not asking me, George, but I got 2 of them. Did you get in on that retro stinger?
Yeah,
Casey?
I got one. Yeah, I got one.
Cool. Did you open it?
Not yet.
Yeah, me either. Both of mine are still boxed, but I'm still trying to stand figures up. So, yeah, very cool. Right on. Okay, cool. Well, we're gonna move on off of classified, and I was trying to be a little nicer and more measured this time, talking about classified. What are your thoughts? And everybody in the chat, you're all just hanging out, chatting with each other. That's cool. But what are your thoughts, everybody, on GI Joe HasLab? Not just the 2 offerings that have come out, but overall, what are your thoughts?
I'm really excited to get my Sky Striker. I think should have it next month.
Yeah, yeah. They said 30 days. Yeah.
So very excited for that. I have some buyer's remorse on the his tank.
Okay.
Since I'm not doing classified anymore, probably just gonna flip it.
Yeah, yeah. You could flip it. Are you thinking about flipping it as a whole, or are you going to part it out and like flip the figures individually and then the vehicle?
If somebody missed out on it, I might flip the whole thing as a whole. Help out somebody else. Just try to get my money back.
I actually appreciate the fact that you said that. Help out somebody else. Get your money back. Like you're not looking to make $1,000.
No.
That's really cool. I'm a huge believer in like collector karma, and not like screwing over your fellow collectors just because like you either want to offload something or make a buck or whatever. So
Right.
I really appreciate you saying that. And then Dom says, same as all HasLabs. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Do you think, Casey, in your personal opinion, as a collector, right? You toy hunt and all that stuff, you've been in the game for a while. Do you feel that these 2 examples could have sold in stores?
Nowadays, no, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think stores want to take up that much space, especially with the his tank. Might have had better luck with the Sky Striker, but I think the his tank. I just don't think stores want that much space taken up.
Okay, that's fair. Ken says he's excited for Sky Striker due to the extras, right? Knife Force Ripcord,
yeah.
Flight Suit Scarlet. Yeah.
We got the ripcord too, right? The Night Force ripcord.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, Night Force
Okay, yeah.
ripcord. Yep. Didn't get the deck crew, right? Ketchup and mustard. Didn't get that far.
I'd trade
I'm
that
a firm
Scarlet for those.
I'm a firm believer. Yeah, I totally would too. Especially since they did a modern blue flight suited Scarlet, and she's freaking awesome. I love her. I got like 6 of them. I don't even know where I was going with that. I do that. I'm sorry. I apologize. It just kind of knocked me right off my chain of thought.
But I mean, bottom line, that Sky Striker is going to be amazing.
Do you have a Sky Striker already?
Yes.
What are you looking forward to with this Sky Striker?
My Sky Striker's old, so I'm looking for a nice clean one with new stuff to it, and just maybe I won't be so scared to handle this one.
I backed it. I backed 2. I firmly believe that I backed 2 because of 50% that bullshit Pavlovian conditioning that I was talking about before, right? Like
Yeah.
you ring the GI Joe bell and blah, I'm expecting dinner, and then 50%. Like I will admit it right now, for posterity, with all these people watching, that FOMO shit, man, that FOMO got me bad. I was like, again, conditioning and the fear of missing out, kind of came
Right.
together and formed some kind of like fucked up Voltron. And I was like, but if I don't support it, they won't make any more GI Joe toys, which is total bullshit, right?
Right.
So I backed 2, and I was like, okay. The hiss. I'm gonna give my opinion on the hiss. Do I think it's rad? Yes. Do
Mhm.
I think that they made smart updates to the design of a HISS tank? 100%. That gull wing canopy is freaking awesome. The independent cannons on top, the flip down ladder, and the crew compartment in the back, totally awesome updates to the HISS. Do I think that they would be smart to make this in a 4-inch scale as well? You're damn right.
Right.
My beef with this, it is 100% 6-inch scale. Okay, cool for classified collectors. I personally feel, take it or leave it, if they made this like Skeletron did the Robo Skull Mark II with interchangeable cockpits and not all of the fucking unlocks were 6-inch stuff, I'd have bought the shit out of this thing. I'd have bought a bunch of them. Because like I think it was really smart what Skeletron did. I know a lot of people argue back and forth, oh, you could go with a HISS tank, but I think that's bullshit. I think it's people just, like coming up with shit to suit their argument. That's just me. I do love to argue with people, especially all my friends in the collecting space, because I am Italian and I love a good fight. Just ask my wife. She's Italian too. Jim Largo says HasLab is not the way to put the fans first. Yeah, right. And that's Hasbro's thing, where fans come first. Get the
Right.
What about you? What about the HISS tank? Thoughts? Anything random? What do you got?
When I was doing classified, I was really excited for it. It looks great, but I'm not doing classified anymore. I wish it was compatible for the 4-inch.
What's up, Matt? Thanks for coming. Yeah, I do too. Even in the comics, to me, it's a valid argument, because in the comics you would see oversized HISS tanks, and they'd have gun ports on the sides, almost like old German, like the World War I tanks, and they would have HISS tanks that were massively oversized with crews in them.
Mhm.
The DTC HISS tank did that. The HISS 2 did that. I wouldn't mind a massively oversized HISS tank like this if it fit 2 4-inch figures to go with my collection. I would not have had a problem with that. But then again, we get into are we rewarding corporate attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, and norms that we don't agree with? And I kind of have issue with that. That's just me personally, because there's plenty of stuff that I can collect from 2019 all the way back to 1982 to fill gaps in my collection that I don't need to support this stuff. And I already admitted that Sky Striker suckered me, and I'm not going to get suckered again. JLS Comics, what's up? Oh, you're only saying hi to. Oh no, wait, you're not just saying hi to Scuba. Hi. How are you? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. We got a lot of people here, Casey. That's cool, man. Everybody
Yeah.
came out to see you. I'm
Uh,
really stoked on that. That's
they
very
don't
cool.
know me.
They're all friggin' talking to each other either. I think half people they show up in like live streams to just chat with each other. And I think that's totally cool because
Yeah.
that's what it's about, right? It's about community and connecting with other collectors and people like that. So yeah, I
I've
think that's really cool.
I've made some great friends through this. So
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to start doing this, talking with other people. As much as I love James, who's my co-host for Neon at Night, as much as I truly love people like Jay Bartlett and Zazel from Sergeant Slaughter Slaughterhouse, and people that I regularly stream with, I want to talk to other people. I want to hang out, and get their thoughts and opinions and insight and stuff, and I love it. And that's partially why I love Joe Fest because you'll be in line waiting to buy something, and there's a person next to you, and next thing you know, like you spark up a conversation, boom, friends.
yep.
I love it. I totally love it. The only weapon we have in this war is our wallet. 100%. Yeah, vote with your wallet. Yeah. I agree that people should collect what they want, but we need to not collect what we don't want.
Right.
100%. And yeah. Oh, here we go. I'll hang out with you, Chad. I hope you would, Dom. I like you very much. And then play with my 375. We're just here doing our own articulated chat. I love it, man. Keep going. Wait, these dudes are live? Yeah. Do you watch much of Scuba Pete stuff? I love Scuba Pete. He's
No, I
awesome.
haven't.
He's hilarious. He was at Joe Fest, him and his wife. Pete's freaking awesome. He's a totally genuine cool guy. I love Scuba Pete. He's really cool. And then Chris says, I think Cobra movie version of the His Tank and those are easy to find. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like the Retaliation His Tanks. I love those His Tanks. Okay. You want to beat up on this anymore, or do you feel pretty good about this?
Did you get a His Tank?
No. 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 I broke my addiction. I felt so bad about the Sky Striker. I was like, never again. I'm not doing it. No, I didn't do it.
I'm hoping.
But some people did. Right here. I'm really pumped for the His Tank. That's
Good.
totally cool. That's 100% cool.
I was pumped for it until about 3 weeks ago.
That's cool. And then Captain says, I got one of each. Right on. That's cool. Now, we have to do what speaks to us, and what we enjoy. The crossover stuff. I got 3 of the Mega Hiss, the Megatron Hiss Tank, and I got 2 of the Bumble Strikers. So, but I'm a big Hiss Tank nut, so
Yeah.
I felt I had to, right? I had to because first world problems. I had to get 3 of the Megatrons, robot mode, hiss mode, one in the box, right? So there it is. I got 3 of those. But yeah. Anyway. Oh, Photo Viper's here. Right on. Sorry I'm late. I was painting an O-ring Terminator head. Awesome. And forgot you were on. But you came here to hang out with Casey, so that's awesome. That's all we want to see. Cool. All right. We're going to move off of HasLab. So this is going to get worse, right? I thought we were only going to go an hour, but I chose some landmine topics because, you and I talked previously when I actually came up with the questions, and I kind of knew how we were going to discuss this stuff. And I really wanted for a first episode of Articulated Chat with the T to kind of stick it in and break it off. I really wanted to do it, and I love to swear, I love to argue, and I love to fucking push people's buttons. So here we go, everybody in the chat. I want to see you guys get nuts on this. Casey, what did you think about this?
All right. We've already talked.
Where's my wife? I want to hear her thoughts on this. Yeah, we did. Go ahead.
I went into this movie with 0 expectations, and I liked it.
Okay.
I feel, they're always going to have to change stories to make it more modern. I mean, I don't think it was the greatest movie I've ever seen, but I liked it.
I don't think anybody goes into a G.I. Joe live action movie, expecting to see Gone with the Wind.
Right. But
Anyway.
Out of the three, it's the worst one.
That it? That all you got?
I mean, people's gonna beat me up. I liked it.
You know what? People shouldn't beat you up if you liked it. I think that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like what you like. I don't think anybody that would come to one of my live streams or any of these fine people in the chat would beat you up personally for liking this. Like I would be a little disappointed if somebody did that. And I don't ever see that happening.
I've had people at cons when they talk to me about it and I tell them that I liked it. I just have to hear about how horrible it was. And, they paid to watch it. They didn't like it. I paid to watch it. I liked it. So I got off better.
See, and then like the chat's already catching up, right? So Wilhelm just laughed. I don't know if that was what I threw up on the screen. I'm going to go into the assumption that it was. Then Dom says my expectations were so low. I still haven't seen it.
It's
sir, my friend. Backwoods, that's not Snake Eyes. See, so there you go, right there. Right, it's not Snake Eyes. So I'm going to stick on this comment here for a second. Now, you and I did discuss this.
Mm-hmm.
Liking it for entertainment value, okay, right? Nothing wrong with that. Like, I like a lot of trauma films, and people think the trauma films are caca,
Right.
But don't ever say an unkind word about Toxic Crusader, right? Because I'll fight your mom. That's not Snake Eyes. I 100% agree with that. Superficial level. When someone says that, immediately people can get on the defensive and be like, oh, you say it's not Snake Eyes because it's Henry Golding. He's not blonde hair. You and I also discussed this previously. Mm-hmm. He lies. He screws people over, right? Yep. He's always out for himself. He lies more. He steals. He ruined Storm Shadow, right?
Storm Shadow is the best character.
Storm Shadow's the fucking good guy in this movie. Yep. And that's why I will always agree when someone like Backwood says that's not Snake Eyes, because the core of the character that is Snake Eyes is not this dude, right? Out for revenge, gets taken in, lies, steals, screws people over. Like, how is that the character? I don't care if you want to make him talk throughout most of the movie.
Right.
I knew it was going to be a motorcycle helmet as soon as you saw this poster where he's holding it down. I knew it was going to be a motorcycle helmet, and that's okay. Like, if I look at this movie like Batman and Robin, there you go.
Yeah.
Right. But the character, think about in Batman and Robin, if they made George Clooney like the way that this guy is as a person, when we talk about character, not the character, but that person's character, right? This character's character was piss poor. That was my biggest problem with the movie. So I just wanted to chat about it because, again, right, I stick it in and break it off. Right? I'm a huge fan of that. So, and then Ratface, Snake Eyes movies was good for what it was. Not really a Joe movie, in my opinion. Dom says, I do want to show it to my boys after he said he had already not seen it. Wilhelm says, people like what they like. Absolutely. People like what they like. I think that Megaforce is the best G.I. Joe movie ever made. Have you ever seen Megaforce, Casey?
A long time ago.
Reacquaint yourself with Megaforce, my friend. Like, it's 80s cheese, and it's gonna be, right?
I liked it when I seen it.
The movie Megaforce is so good because they go in to do this job they do 50% of it so well that the people they do it for are like, we're going to screw you over and leave you here for dead. And then they're like, cool, we're going to fight our way out. Like, what movie is like that? You know what I mean? When you watch it, it's so good. I fucking love Megaforce.
I'll have to watch
Megaforce is my favorite Joe movie ever, period. Okay, sorry, I got a little lost here in the chat. And then Pete says, I still haven't seen it. Do you get a free classified figure with it now? You probably get all of those figures with
all the movie figures. Yeah.
I have to say, I ripped the shit out of this movie. Like the girl that played the Baroness, her as an actress,
Uh-huh.
I have no beef with her. I've never seen her in anything else, at least not that I've known her. But I call her the Kareness because she looks like a Karen. She looks like she's gonna go talk to the manager and give the manager an earful. She doesn't look like she's like, Anastasia DeCobre at all.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. She looks like she's gonna go bitch that her food's too cold, but whatever. I did like Samara Weaving as Scarlet. I really like Samara Weaving as Scarlet. I will say, however, pause for dramatic effect. The reshoots that put her in that movie were jarring. Terribly jarring. Like all of a sudden, Akiko and Tommy Arashikage have Scarlet on speed dial, and they're like, hey, Scarlet, you want to help us out with this? It's like, what? Where did that come from? It's just completely out of context, out of nowhere. But yeah. So I mean, a lot of people are just kind of all over the place. Photo Viper. It was an okay popcorn film, not a Joe movie. Okay. Terrible movie in the bastardization. I 100% agree. And that's just my opinion. No issue if you like it. No, absolutely not. Dom, drink a silly soda or 3 and watch it with the boys. George says Snake Eyes movie toys are still on sale at half price. But the Scarlet figure it's
good.
It's a pretty damn good figure. I picked one up when I was still kind of like on the fence about classified because it was inexpensive. They're fucking everywhere.
Nope.
And it's a good sculpt. Yeah, I definitely said so. And then everybody's just kind of going, they're just kind of going Snake Eyes crazy. Haven't watched it. Once I saw who they cast as Snake Eyes, I was like, Clown World. I think Henry Golding's a great actor.
Yes.
As an actor, he's an awesome. Like, you see that movie, The Boys?
No.
The Gentleman. Gentleman? Yeah, he's freaking awesome in that movie. Guy Pearce movie. And then Pendragon says Toxic Crusader is dope. Yeah, it is. I actually saw I believe Toxic Crusader was the first time I saw boobs. Can I say that? I mean, do I have too many subs now? I can't say. I said the F word like 86 times already, whatever. I saw it when it came out on digital. Yeah. I saw it in the theater because if I was going to have an opinion on it, I was going to see it. That was just the bottom line.
I think
I wasn't going to be this person who was like, I don't like this. It's different. I'm going to talk shit. Like I had to watch it.
Right. When I watched it, the guys from Anything Joe's rented out a theater and invited us down to watch it. So
cool.
We got to watch it with friends, and we were pretty much the only ones in there. There was like their families. My wife came. So, maybe the atmosphere helped out a lot. Was it a great movie? No, but I enjoyed it.
But is it tuna fish and chocolate milk? Because that comment. Well, anyway, missing the whole commando. Yeah, because he was like a street fighter, right? He was just like a brawler kind of dude.
Yeah,
whatever. But his dad was in G.I. Joe. I just didn't like the fact that like the writing is so juvenile. Oh, hey, Dad, is there a safe in the cabin? Well, what do you mean, son? Well, I heard you on the phone and you said you were at the safe house. So is there a safe? I was like, get out. As soon as I saw that part, I was like, this is going to be like Bat Credit Card all over again, like right out of the gate. And then I kind of knew where that was. Pericles, I haven't watched any live action G.I. Joe movies.
Ooh.
Look at that. Okay. I applaud that, actually. I have never seen that before. You can see his face, not Snake Eyes. Anyway, so everybody's just and I really did. I stuck it in and broke it off with this one. These comments are crazy. Oh, James Salzberg, what's up, dude? Megaforce is awesome. You're damn right. Megaforce is awesome. See? And then everybody's chiming in on Megaforce. Scuba Pete, Megaforce equals mega great. And then my buddy Gaz, who's like as gaga for Megaforce as me. Hell yeah, Chad. Right. I love G.I. Joe the movie, and most people hate it. Are we talking 87 animated? That's cool. Then Chris laughed because I called her the Kareness. Yeah, totally. And then my buddy Johnny says American Ninja is my Snake Eyes movie, and he and I have discussed that a lot before. Yeah, American Ninja for sure. Okay, yeah, here we go. So it's just getting nuts. Okay, now we're talking about booze. I don't know. Anyway, so we're gonna move on. Okay, so we're moving on from the Cobra movie. I waited to hate it until I saw it. I enjoyed Jupiter's Legacy more. Yeah, I did too. That's a Channing Tatum one where he's like a fucking dog or something, right? Isn't that one? Yeah. Did you see that, Casey?
Nope.
No. It was actually pretty okay, but Eddie Redmayne's weird in that movie. Real weird. Great actor. Weird character. Okay, moving on. All right, hot seat. You ready?
Yep.
That slideshow is really like blinding me. Give me your favorite of each of the three of these, if you have one of each.
I do.
Okay.
Favorite Joe, all time, Airborne. The
first. Nice.
My favorite Cobra is Firefly, and my favorite Dreadnought is Buzzer. Just all childhood favorites.
Cool. I dig that. Hold on one second, because I owe an apology. Jupiter's Legacy, that's was it Timothy Olyphant or whatever, where they were like kind of superhero-y? Yeah. Jupiter, fuck it, whatever. Jupiter something or other, whatever. Wilhelm says, nice choices.
Thanks.
Firefly and Buzzer, yeah?
Yep.
Cool. I dig
now,
that.
if they ever make an Airborne classified, I will buy that one. It's just my favorite all-time Joe.
What's he going to jump out of? I mean, they made Copperhead, and I'm like, what? There's no water moccasin. They made CoverGirl, and they put the Wolverine on the box. Right. I was on somebody else's stream, and I was like, oh, there's her Wolverine right there. Just cut a little hole in the box. That's the Wolverine, and drive her around.
Maybe it's the next HasLab.
You know, I'm going to kind of echo something that you just said. So you said if they made a classified Airborne, you would buy him.
I would.
If I see a classified low light and they just nail it, I'm going to be hard pressed to not buy that figure. There's a caveat to that though, right? If it's windowless packaging, I don't know if I would buy it because I have a weird scale issue. I don't like my food to touch on my plate, and I don't like intermingling scales unless, right, Transformers and Joe's, okay, right? The Transformers are going to be bigger. But if you put a Mobat, a Mauler, and then the Grizzly next to each other, I don't like that because the Grizzly is so big. It makes the Mobat look like what a Vamp should look like next to a tank. So I don't keep those tanks together. I keep them kind of separate. So I don't know if I would buy a classified low light because then I'm going to take him out of the box. Where am I going to put him in here? I mean, he's not like a fucking giant. It would just look stupid. So anyway, that's just me, right? I have a real weird issue with scale, and then Dom will buy it. So go ahead.
Well, I just think a classified Airborne would be amazing.
Sure. Maybe you could. Hey, have you seen these people who like they get like Bratz cars and like that Batmo Beast from McFarlane, and they tchotchke together like any like weird fucking vehicles they can to like try to make like a motor pool for their classified figures. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. So like a couple guys I know, they over on the 3POA podcast, like Laser Pants Ryan and those guys, and they're all like goobers for boobers for like this Bratz car because it's like a cheap 112 scale car that you, but it's like a hoopty. It's like some kind of like ghetto ride, and I'm like, what? Why are you putting like tactical operators in like this thing that looks like it should be like low riding down the? I don't know. That's just me, but whatever. So, George says Firefly, Duke, and Zarena. James, low light is my favorite Joe. Yep, absolutely. Photo Viper says mainframe. Mainframe, really? And then Firefly and Buzzer. So there you go. Mainframe? I actually think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, see, here's Pete. Rat's car's the ball. So dumb. It's so dumb. Like, I appreciate people's tenacity and like their their creativity. But I just every time I see somebody buy some weird freaking thing to like sit a 112 scale figure in, it strengthens my argument against 112 scale every time. And I'm like, it's like people like grasping at straws. It's like feeding starving people. You know how they say like you don't want to overfeed starving people? Because they'll like get sick or they'll actually do damage to themselves because they eat so much because they've starved forever.
Yep.
That's how I see these 112 scale collectors. They're like, oh man, I could take this and I could do this with it. And like I jokingly take pictures of like the real cheap like Kids Connect garbage trucks that they have at Walmart. And I'm like, hey, here's your next tactical vehicle, fucking garbage truck. But anyway, that's just me. So very cool. I like those three choices. Those are good choices. So I hope for your sake that they do come up with the classified airborne, and I'm sure they will at some point. You're probably looking at 2024 or later, right? Because they already
Probably, yeah.
announced all their 23 figures. Do you know why they did that? Why they what they call them pipeline? Why they announced all their pipeline figures?
Uh-uh.
So somebody gave the entire list of 2022 figures to um, the fine people over at What's on Joe Mind.
Yeah.
And Mike and whoever else was on, at Mark, I'm sure Mark was there and Joe and them announced all these figures. And they said, oh, well, this is the rumor that we got for all the figures that are coming out in 22. And people are like, oh, you're crazy. You're stupid. None of that's true. And then it was 100% true. So then Hasbro got pissed, and then they were like, "We're going to do it ourselves." So anyway, so yeah, that's why they announced it. But I did not see an airborne in there.
No, I'm hoping he'll come out in the O-rings too. Get a new one of those.
Maybe. I would personally like to see them continue the what do they call it? They call it the Transformers G.I. Joe collab. Like they have a big ridiculous name for what should just be like crossover.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to see more of those. I would really like to see them do an Optimus Prime. That's just me. What would you like to see them continue?
Well,
or do different?
I know a lot of people like the Transformers and stuff. Not a fan myself, but I'm glad they're making them for other people. I hope they will release the figures carded so I could get a Baroness and a Stalker. Because I can't do, I don't like the whole idea of Transformers and G.I. Joe together. But I understand a lot of people do.
This is going to be awkward. Wait one. I hate to walk off on screen. I think that's kind of disrespectful. You're talking about these, right? These O-ring figures?
Yeah.
You need these?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that's what you were talking about. So anyway, my buddy Jay's here. So thanks for coming, Jay. I really appreciate it. And real quick, I'm going to get through a couple of comments. Backwoods says Mainframe is badass. Read his file card. I've read his file card.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that's cool that you said Mainframe. That's really cool. He was also one of the older Joes, which is really cool. And they kind of leaned into that, and it helped create his kind of round out his character. I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah, he's a very interesting character.
Desert Rat and the Bratz Party. No, Pete. No. It's so dumb. I mean, I think it's cool. I also think it's like hilarious and kind of sad at the same time, but that's just me. And then Dom says, "No more O-rings. Toys have evolved so far from that. We can do better." Right, personal opinions. We all have them, right? They're all subjective. I completely agree with this. That's I'm a huge fan of the modern construction of toys in the 4-inch scale. So I mean,
Right.
that's just me.
Yeah,
Rolando, what's up? Sorry, go ahead.
I love the Star Wars vintage collection. Those modern figures, those are great. I love the 25th, 30th, 50th anniversary Joes.
Yeah.
But if they're not going to make those anymore and they want to do O-rings, that's the scale I'd go for.
Well, and it was supposed to be why Haya Toys got the license to produce 4-inch modern articulation Joes, because after all the anniversary stuff, the Pursuit of Cobra, and then obviously Pursuit of Cobra came out before 50th anniversary, but you see where I'm going with that. Yeah. After they put all the modern construction Joes out that they did, and the figure subscription service, the last 2 years of the figure subscription service was total shit, right? It was all repaints and Frankenstein tchotchkes, and they just looked like garbage. But after that ran its course, Haya was supposed to start, really pumping out the 4-inch figures, and they've only shown 2 so far, and they don't even come out until next spring. So we'll see how that goes. But if you've seen any of Haya Toys' other stuff, like their Aliens APC or their Ed 209 from RoboCop, they do amazing stuff when they actually grab it by the haunches and kind of get with it. But we'll see how it goes. Chad agreed with me. I won the chat. Good night. Okay, Dom. Yeah, you win. We talked about that a million times, man. So yeah, but very cool. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kill this off the stream. Casey, I can't thank you enough for joining me tonight and hanging out and talking Joes.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. It's a lot of fun.
I had a blast. I really had a blast, and it's nice to just hang out, talk, reconnect, and just see where things go. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, it's hope I didn't make anybody mad with the classified talk.
You're not gonna make anybody mad with anything. I mean, look, I'm over here ripping on the Bratz car and stuff. Like, yeah, no. Look, we should all appreciate people having different opinions, because that's what makes the world go round. If everybody just loves Snake Eyes, the whole G.I. Joe run would just be Snake Eyes, and it's already Snake Eyes enough, right?
Right.
So
we
need to have more people. Yeah. Thank you, Pete. So Casey, Pete says, "Great chat, gentlemen." So
thank you.
Really cool. And then look, even James says he's not mad. See, he's not mad. I love discussing classified with people because and I will drop bombs. I will drop bombs. I was on Toy Domination's channel, and he said, "Hey, if you were in charge of Hasbro right now, what's the first thing you would do?" I was like, "I would shit can classify." And people are just like, "What? You would do what?" And I was like, "I just said it just to piss people off." But yeah, I said it. I did. So very cool. Casey, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? Good sir.
Mostly on Instagram, Podcast from the Pit. Twitter, it's under Pit Podcast, and our email's podcastfromthepit@gmail.com.
And I am going to throw your podcast locations up one more time for anybody who doesn't know where to find them if they want to check them out. Your Joe Fest episode is awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I loved it. I really loved it. And that's kind of what led me to be like, you know what? I want to get Casey on the channel and I just want to talk some Joes. So
It was a
I
fun episode.
really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's really good. You got a lot of great episodes on there. And people use the term podcast, just generically. It'll be like a YouTube stream. They'll be like, yeah, I'm listening to a podcast. It's like, no, you're not. You watch fucking YouTube, but I love good old fashioned podcasts where you can just like listen to it and just kind of tune out everything else. Like I'll just put it in while I'm working, man. I really love your podcast.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I'm funny. I'm not trying to be funny, but yeah, I appreciate it. At least I can make people laugh. I don't want to piss everybody off, but whatever it is, what it is. Cool, Casey. I can't thank you enough for joining me tonight, man.
Thank you. Anytime.
Got any closing thoughts?
Just had a blast. Finally getting to talk some G.I. Joe again. It's been a while since we've done an episode, so I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, I appreciate you coming, sir, and I look forward to you getting some more episodes of your podcast. I know you got some logistical things going on, but I'm really looking forward to you picking it back up.
Appreciate that.
Cool. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming and hanging out with me and Casey on my episode 1 of Articulated Chat with a T. So this has been Chatting with Chad with Casey from Podcast from the Pit, and I want to say thank you all very much and good night. Casey, take it away.
Thank you, everybody. Had a great time.
Bye.
Bye.
Have an awesome day.